Good morning, my fellow yoga travelers. I'm mighty glad to be alive today, and I hope that you are too, as we continue to live, laugh, love, learn, linger, and live the life we love. It's Wednesday, so it's my bad joke day, and as I've been trying to model for everybody, I try to make fun of the Jewish tradition, which is not just a single ethnicity, but it's a cultural background, united by its spiritual belief. But the idea is to make fun of yourself. And every culture has its own humor, so we should be a little less uptight about not making fun of the human condition as reflected in our own culture, and then being able to appreciate other people doing it as well without getting all in a huff about it. So, guy goes into a pet store, and he's interested in buying a bird. He looks at these parrots. They're beautiful. He says, that parrot is fantastic. How much for that parrot? The guy says, $5,000. $5,000 for a parrot? What are you kidding me? He says, no, you don't understand. This parrot has memorized the whole Chumash, the 5 books of Moses, the Pentateuch. It can speak it in perfect Aramaic and in Hebrew. Wow, unbelievable. Well, what about that parrot over there? $10,000. $10,000? Whoever thought about $10,000? No, you don't understand. This parrot has memorized the whole Babylonian Talmud and can recite the Mishnah, Gemara, the Agada, and all the Kabbalistic teachings. You're kidding me. No, that's how it is. Wow. But what about that parrot over there? Oh, that one? $25,000. $25,000? What parrots were? No, you don't understand. Those other two, we don't know what's going on, but they call him Rabbi. All right. So now, for my journal writing people, move on. Can I get a rim shot for that? You can either write this, think about it in your own head, elevate the conversation where you are, or let me know, and we'll have a dialogue about how each one of us sees this. Who modeled spirituality for you? Was there anybody in your family who was either religious or like deep into their own search for truth? Or was it a teacher outside you in public school and yoga ashram? Did you go to India? Did you find somebody? Who modeled spirituality for you? And if it wasn't a live human being, is there a fictional character that represented the search for truth, the investigation that's ongoing until you find it? Let me know what was going on for you. I'll tell you what was going on for me. Now, this week, I'm sharing the teachings of V.K.S. Iyengar, the yoga teaching, Rinpoche, Chogyam Trungpa, Buddhist Kagyu meditator, Michael Mead, drummer and mythologist, Matthew Fox, Christian Episcopal theologian, and Edward Edinger, Jungian psychologist, as well as the affirmation masters that I do every single week. So here's the teachings for today. Practice in yoga means constant, unceasing vigilance to combat the shortcomings of weakness, mood shifts, and pessimism that comes along in the way of learning, and certainly in the way of life as well. But that dynamic effort alone is what's going to give you the balanced mind to deal with all the oppositions that you're going to have to face. So the word is, keep your approach intense and single-minded. That's called ekagrata. Nothing holds a candle to the power of your search for the truth that you need to find. Now, my Buddhist meditation teacher says you have to work with ordinary situations, but bring extraordinary insight into it. Like I said, if you can't see the extraordinary and the extraordinary, you'll never be a mystic. It's like seeing a jewel in a rubbish heap. You have to learn to recognize these things that are right out in front of you, but for most people, they're blind, they don't see it. Even problems seem to be problems, but they're really sources of inspiration. Reality is to be found there when you deal with it properly. Now, my mythology teachings remind you that knowledge is a burden. Yeah, ignorance is bliss. And to know is to be burdened now by what you know. Yeah, less knowledge is always a burden. Less knowledge is less of a burden, that's true. So how can you deal with it? Well, I keep saying art and practice. Art is a way that we can carry those things that we can't carry. It really opens up the poignancy of the human predicament in the most creative way. And that takes us to the next thing that my Christian theologian reminds us, that a creative being lives inside ourselves, whether we like it or not. And we have to get out of its way. Otherwise, it'll give us no peace. We're made in the image and likeness of the Creator. We're supposed to create. And if we can de-elitize, if that's a word, right, our understanding of art, or of artist. So creativity becomes a spirituality and therefore a way of life for us to live. Homo aestheticus, make everything beautiful. That makes you an artist. And then the psychological teaching is, yes, always a reminder that the inner child was vulnerable and may have been damaged by adverse environmental conditions. Just depends on the degree. But we all keep some feeling of lack of self-acceptance because that happened to us. Somehow we think we're less than. Our worth is less than because of that. And then psychologically, it's as if we're living in a desert and we can't find the source of the life-giving water anymore. But this kind of alienation is a necessary precursor, a necessary prelude to a deeper awareness of ourself. So just remember, you're unable to prove or make a demonstration, as we would say, because you think Spirit's power is outside of you. But the only place where the spiritual demonstration can actually exist is in your own heart. And love that is not in your own heart does not exist for you, and therefore can't, of course, affect you in any way, let alone radiate out to other people. Maybe you didn't know it before, maybe you didn't know it then, but you do know it now. Take it, use it, radiate it. Anyway, thanks for listening, everybody. By the way, a space has opened up in the Mexico vacation, February 21st to February 28th in Puerto Morelos, place we've been going to for over 30 years. So contact me, GabrielHalpern.com. You'll see it on the website. Love to have you join us. Otherwise, have a great day.